Anime Addicts, it's that Halloween season. And if you want to support the podcast, give us a little treat. You can go to AAApodcast.com/join our Patreon, because this is a listener-supported podcast. So again, give us a nice little treat. We like our little, better than any Reese cup, better than any Kit Kat is your support over at AAApodcast.com/join our Patreon. And we'll give you a treat right back with our 8 exclusive episodes per month. And now it's time to start the show.
You are listening to an extra spooky episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your candy addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. Happy Halloween!
Hello, and welcome to the 900th, or sorry, not the 900th, the 699th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. My name is Caroline. I don't have a Halloween costume here, unfortunately, but I have several scary things going for me. Number 1, I got a t-shirt with little ghosts on it. You can't really see it. Number 2, my forehead is in complete view because my bangs are gross today and I had to pull it back, so that's quite frightening for me personally because I don't like my forehead. And number 3, my dad is currently doing stuff in the bathroom trying to fix something, so you can hear some spooky thumps in the background, even though he knows that I'm doing this right now. Woo! Yes, several frightening things this episode. We also got some of my very frightening co-hosts. We got Mason with a little pumpkin in the background.
Yeah, I got a pumpkin in the background. I got some skulls on the table, some little ghosty boys, and that's about it for my Halloween contribution to this episode. I was like, what can do I have any vampire teeth? Do I have no? Do I have any cat? No. I guess I'll just wear a vaguely black and orange shirt and call it a day. But nonetheless, I am still ready for a good Halloween episode with you guys.
Wonderful. And also joining us is the very frightening Pope Mitsugi.
Hey, fuck you.
Oh, hey, what's up?
What's up?
The scariest thing on this episode will be the impressions. When we get to them.
There's actually a fourth factor, a fourth frightening factor, if you will.
Whoa.
Is probably the high probability of internet issues for me because they are never ending. So you never know, and I might glitch out and give you a jump scare.
That is the scariest thing of all.
On this podcast. Yeah, but poor audio quality is the most frightening thing.
Truly terrifying. Yes, indeed.
You can subscribe for bonus content. That really helps support us. You can go to aapodcast.com/join or patreon.com/AAApodcast and throw us a couple dollars and we'll give you some really great bonus features in return.
Shake the bones,
you can also join us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/AAApodcast every Sunday, 5 p.m. EDT, soon to be EST. And you can also find us on YouTube as well, so you can get our recordings there too. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Discord. If you go to aaadiscord.com, you can join us there, or go to our merch store, aaashop.info. So, here we are. It is currently October 15th, but by the time this comes out, it'll be full on spooky time. So, we're going to have our Halloween special today, and we also have our first round of fall 2023 impressions. So, without further ado, I say we should get started. Do you guys agree?
You sure you don't want us to listen to this music?
I suppose we could.
your big news of the week.
Oh, it's so amazing. But there's new Dragon Ball coming. So fucking excited. So it was put out recently, I guess this week, that there's a new Dragon Ball series, Dragon Ball Daima, is coming in the fall of 2024. Because I mean, come on, with just like the cash cow that Dragon Ball is, like they're never gonna quit making Dragon Ball. They're gonna make it way after Akira Toriyama's dead and gone. So, oh man, as it's like in the top 20 most profitable media franchises of all time. Anyway, this one, Dragon Ball Daima, is done is the original work, story, and character designs by Akira Toriyama, so it's not your uncanon Dragon Ball GT sort of, sequel or whatever. Commemorating the manga's 40th anniversary. I mean, that and let alone is like how many like properties out there are still just cranking like 40 years later. I mean, that's like Star Wars, and like there's like what, I don't know, probably 1% of everything that comes out is that enduring. So for the 40th anniversary, they're going to put out Dragon Ball Daima, is the first new anime in 6 years, as Dragon Ball Super ended in 2018. As Toriyama has said, Daima is a made-up term. In English, it would be something like evil. The plotline is, due to a conspiracy, Goku and his friends, and I love this, are all turned small. In order to fix things, they're headed off to a new world. It's a grand adventure with intense action in an unknown and mysterious new world. Since Goku has made up for his petite size, he has to make up for his petite size, so he uses his Nyoibo, or the power pole, to fight, something not seen in a long time. Toriyama came up with the story and the settings as well as a lot of the designs, and as he puts it, he put a lot more into this than usual. Things will unfold that close in on the mysteries of the Dragon Ball world. And frankly, if you want my opinion, I just talked to a buddy of mine on Discord just recently about this, because someone put this super awesome fan fiction of Goku, like, trying to summit some, like, Everest-like mountain without any of his powers, and I was like, yes, we need a Dragon Ball. This is before I knew about this. I was like, we need a Dragon Ball to come out where they're not just like changing hair color and acting insane and being like powerful enough to destroy the planet. We need to go way back to like when we were like in Dragon Ball, when we were just back to the roots of just like simple fighting, simple power pole, maybe a Kamehameha here and there, but none of this like just like Superman level, epicness. We need no more of that. We need to take a step back, go back to when Dragon Ball was simpler and less like over the top, and boom, 2 weeks later, I get exactly that. We're going back to simple Dragon Ball looking Goku with his power pole going on an adventure with Krillin and the gang, and boy, it's going to be fucking dope. Anybody else? Do either of you care?
What do you say to all the... What do you say to all the people who like Dragon Ball but are super upset about this because they just want more Super? Because that seems to be the majority of the Dragon Ball backlash.
Hey, fuck you.
That's what I say. They can go straight to hell.
There you go.
It's hot in hell, Anime Satan will tell you. I think I have a drop for that. I'll find it. But, it's like, people, honestly, you're just like... I mean, so, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Because, I mean, to me, all that says is that Dragon Ball has multiple levels of appeal. There are people that love, here we go.
Oh, it gets pretty hot down here in hell.
There you go, you motherfuckers. People are like, oh, I love Dragon Ball Super because I don't, no idea why. Like, it's by definitely the worst of all the Dragon Ball series other than GT. And with the exception of the Return of Frieza, was not that good. And if you just like having multiple hair colors and shit, that just smacks of like someone who probably didn't even watch Dragon Ball originally. So you can like it for that. I'm sure there's going to be more Dragon Ball Super. I couldn't take 10 steps in fucking Mexico recently without running into Dragon Ball Super somewhere. So that's probably going to continue. But now for the real fans of Dragon Ball, we're going back to the roots. We're getting epic. We're going to have mini Goku, mini Krillin, mini Yamcha, mini Tien. We're probably going to have Gohan in there. Fucking Goten, he's going to be like prenatal. He's going to go back to like being in the womb. I mean, Caroline's raising her hand.
Yes, I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer. But with this plot synopsis, they say that like, okay, everyone has turned small. Now, is this small as in like a chibi form?
Click on the trailer.
Or small like an Ariete thing?
Put the trailer right in there for you so you could look at it. I mean,
man, I don't want to click a link.
He
I don't
looks
want to
like,
watch Dragon Ball.
he looks like Goku looks like he did in the original Dragon Ball.
Oh,
look like
he's
kids.
cute.
Except now you have like if you watched History of Bardock, you saw young Vegeta training in the whatever training rooms they had. So now you have Vegeta small, and he looks like a kid. So it's like everybody goes back to being a kid, including Vegeta and all the rest. And yeah, so it's not chibi. It's just he's just reverting back to like when Goku was a child, and everybody, I don't, they've done this before in Dragon Ball GT, but like Toriyama didn't do it. That wasn't even him that made that. So I don't want to hear anybody bitch about that. And I don't know, people that like Super are mad that they're making more Dragon Ball. Like you're just not Dragon Ball fans. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Tons of feedback.
DM me on Discord. I'll tell you personally, go fuck yourself. And you're just not a Dragon Ball fan if that's your opinion, because that's like saying, oh, I'm a Dragon Ball fan, but I hate the fact that they're making more. Like, what the fuck? Get the hell out of my face. People are stupid.
They want Super. I don't know what to tell you.
This looks kind of fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I mean, I don't know if I'll watch it because I've never seen any of Dragon Ball anyway. So, but yeah.
This is just like when the only thing that makes an anime interesting is your new hair color, because the powers are so extreme that there's really no. It's like, you know how when it's cold outside and it's 0, and then maybe next day it's -10. You can't really feel the difference. It's like the stuff they're doing in Dragon Ball Super is so just absurd at this point that there's really no point of even having the damn show. I mean, what is the point? We have to like have a tournament. The entire last half of Dragon Ball Super was a fucking tournament with all these goofy looking characters because there's simply nowhere else to go, except now we have to battle the strongest people from the universe in multiple dimensions. Like, and then the fight scenes look the exact same as they did, in fucking the Frieza saga, because you can't articulate power past a certain point. It's just like how you can't feel cold past a certain point. It just looks the same. You've lost track of your roots. Time to get back on track, and that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Nice.
You're up,
Huzzah.
Caroline.
Okay, let me just. Sorry, I just have to exit out of the trailer here. Okay, so for my news this week, Crunchyroll announced that it'll be re-releasing Makoto Shinkai's Suzume. The film is going to be in over 200 theaters across the U.S. and Canada starting on October 27th. So it'll be available in Japanese with English subtitles and English dubbed formats. So this is part of at least in Japan, this was part of a special Okairi Joe welcome back screening in 100 theaters in Japan from September 20th to October 5th. And it's supposed to commemorate the release of the film on Blu-ray disc and DVD, also on September 20th. So yeah, that's going on right now, or going to be going on soon. So if you did not get a chance to see the movie at first, you got another chance to go in theaters anyway.
Is it weird that I just don't like anime movies, really? I don't know. I just don't really. I don't know.
I mean, like recently, ever?
I think recently, I think back in the day, there was Akira and Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that I watched over and over again. But now I'm like, I know Makoto Shinkai is great, but this doesn't get me excited at all for some reason. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think you're
it's
weird, because
fine.
I think movies are the
weird.
best content in anime.
It's fine. I'm weird.
I mean, I'm not going to say that Makoto Shinkai has, it would be ridiculous for anybody to not be a Makoto Shinkai fan. Because I can definitely see why people would stop wanting to watch his movies after, the third love story that's separated by time, space, and magicalness, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But, I still think that they're very enjoyable to see.
I think I am a Makoto Shinkai fan. I mean, I've seen every single thing he's done except the last movie, and clear back to his and her cat. I mean, I've seen all of it. So to say that I'm not a fan of his is probably a stretch, but I don't think he has a very diverse spread of ideas. But I don't know, whatever. Anytime anime gets out there more, I'm happy. So
yeah, I mean, are you gonna watch the new Slam Dunk movie when that gets released on streaming stuff?
I wanted to see it because Slam Dunk is. The movie was supposed to be so good, and Slam Dunk is good, but I tried to go see it, but it was in theaters for a whole 5 days. I mean, it was gone in a blink, so I missed it. But I mean,
when it comes out, will you watch it?
if it's not on some streaming service I don't have, I'm not going to go get like Paramount or Disney or something just to watch it. But
that's fair.
If it comes out on one of the ones I have access to, then yeah. I mean, if it's on Crunchyroll, sure, I'll watch it. Yeah. But that's mostly because I'm already so invested in Slam Dunk that, I think it's just when there's a movie that comes out that has no prior content, like, like this one that we're talking about, that I just lack excitement. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because the movies are just hard to access.
Yeah, maybe.
Okie doke.
For my news this week, Crunchyroll has also announced something that they are launching a 24/7 anime channel. So this will be a linear channel, which if you don't know, it's essentially what old school conventional TV used to be like, where there's a pre-scheduled slate of shows. Think of like Toonami or Adult Swim, where you tune in and you just watch stuff as it comes out. You don't get to pick what it is, but you could just not have to pick. You just pull it up, have it going in the background, or just be like, I don't want to decide on what I want to watch today. And you just go to a place and watch it. Do we like this as an idea? Is this something that you guys would at all be like, yeah, I'd watch a pre-programmed slate of shows?
Yes,
Honestly, yeah.
if it's not expensive.
So
Yeah, that is one thing. I think one reason being because sometimes you just don't know what you want to watch, but you want to watch something, and it takes way too much brain power to pick and choose. And at least this gives you the opportunity to like dip into something that you might not have wanted to watch otherwise.
Yeah, so series that will launch, you had something, Mitch?
Well, this is not the first time they've done this. I mean, this is not the first anime channel. I think
Nope.
Didn't the other ones go bankrupt? I don't know. I'm not sure if they're still around. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything still around that does this.
But this is not the first like all anime TV channel. I just don't think the other ones survived. So.
But this has Crunchyroll doing it, and it's really, they already have the content and the licenses. They're just have another way to display it. So, series that will be airing at launch of this thing will be Horimiya, Ranking of Kings, Moriarty the Patriot, Psychopaths, Arifureta, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, To Your Eternity, and Code Geass with their English dubs. And this will begin on October 18th on Amazon Freevee, LG channels, the Roku channel, and Vizio Watch Free Plus. And it may come to other platforms later. So if you have any of that, probably by the time you're hearing my voice, you can probably go check out the Crunchyroll 24/7 channel and report back how it is. And there will also be scheduled promotional, genre, and theme programming blocks in the future. So personally, this doesn't do much for me. I'm never at a loss for what I want to be watching or what I need to be watching. So I don't think it has interest, but I think there is a market out there for it. Someone who just doesn't know anime just says, okay, show me anime. And start.
There's got to be way more than just those shows, though, right? I mean, that's not enough to fill 24 hours. And plus, I've seen almost every single one of those, except Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, which I'm never fucking.
What? No, that sounds like right up your alley, man.
Oh,
what
yeah.
Are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every single one of those words is actually just how I would describe you.
Moriarty the Patriot, I dropped that, I think. The rest of them I've seen, so there's got to be more than those.
I mean, there are some decent shows in this list. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I mean, Code Geass is excellent. To Your Eternity, Psychopaths. But I would expect them to have like 40 or 50 anime if they're going to be doing 24 hours, half an hour blocks.
This is just at launch, so I'm guessing these are going to air, 4 or 5 episodes at a time and then move
Jesus
to the
Christ.
next one and
You're
just
gonna run
rotate
out.
through. I don't know.
You're going to run out in a week. Crunchyroll has access to everything. See that's the
This is
thing.
just at launch. I don't know. And there's also only English dubs, so...
Well, so that's the thing, though, right? I mean, so I'm going to assume Crunchyroll, what they're doing is they're leveraging the assets they own, and they're trying to find another way to generate revenue off assets they already have. Any business would do that. So they're like, oh, we're going to dive into the catalog of like 1,000 anime we have access to, and we're going to make it into a TV channel, and we're going to try to get people to probably, I have to imagine, pay like $5 a month to watch this. The problem is that because Crunchyroll has access to these already, as I said, they're going to be utilizing assets they already own, this shit's probably already on Crunchyroll. So really all you'd have to do is find the animes that you like from what they're going to be showing and just go watch them on Crunchyroll. There's really no reason to subscribe to something like this unless it's one, free, which if it is, that's great. They might just be trying to drive people more to their service, or two, if they have stuff on there that you can't watch on the regular Crunchyroll. Otherwise, I can't think of a reason why I would even participate in this.
That's my guess. It already comes bundled with these other
I hope so.
things. In the chat, Captain Avatar is saying Retro Crush has a linear channel on Roku TV. And I'm actually surprised this isn't on Roku, at least as of now. So, I don't know. Just alerting people to it as an option if you so desire. But there you
Retro
go.
Crush, man, they need to fucking get their shit together because I go into Retro Crush probably once a month just to check it out, and they never have anything new. I mean, it's just the same stuff every time.
It's Retro Crush. What do you want?
I don't know. More fucking titles? I mean, there's... Christ, they even consider stuff from like 2012 retro. I mean, there could be thousands of anime on there, but they just don't have anything. But no one goes on there to watch something from 2012. I want to watch like Urotsuki Doji and like old things that I can't find other places. Bebop High School, whatever. But they never.
Hey, there we go.
They never.
There we go. We can move on.
Anyway.
I can confirm that there's now a bet in the Betting Degeneracy on our Discord about my router and
Oh my
whether or
God.
not it will fuck up. So we
Buy
got
another router.
Yeah, we got a bet from Net. He says, I'll bet that it does fuck up. $5. But
It just
Smarmy
did a second ago.
Smart.
I was going to
can't
say, it
remember
was
how
clipping
his
as
name
she
is.
says this.
Flip. Fuck.
It's literally clipping as
Smarmy
you talk about
Whiplash
it clipping,
is probably
which is
going
hilarious.
to lose this bet then. Smarmy believes in my router. That was a foolish belief. And so he says it's scrappy and hardworking. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's about to be scrapped.
But yes. Raggedy Doctor said that he was on the way to cut my cords on my router. I guess he already did it. And yeah, that's the deal right now in the
That
betting.
sounds a little too... There's a double meaning there. The doctor will... Yeah. Anyway. Shall we move on?
Halloween.
All right, so we put out a so happy Halloween first of all. We put out a survey of just random questions for you, and there were several questions. I will go run through them here with you. The question, well, we can do these one at a time, but as we go through the results, I want all of us to give our input as well on how we would answer these questions, because I think that makes it just more fun. And so we don't have a lot of time because we got a lot of impressions to do. So I'm just going to start. I appreciate everybody who there were a lot of people in a very, very short amount of time that went in there and did this, and I didn't give you a lot of time. I apologize for that. I was on a business trip last week and didn't have really a lot of time to do anything, and but I did get it out eventually. It was like Tuesday night. So the first question I asked was, what are the top anime to watch on Halloween? So that's kind of like a staple question. We did the same type of survey in 2019, but hey, 4 years ago is kind of a long time. So
So did you provide answers or did people write them in?
People wrote them in, and I went in and curated them because you'd be amazed how many different ways people can like write the same anime title. It's like, so. I will just run through these top 5, and then I'd like us to go through as well for Halloween. Number 5 was Tokyo Ghoul. So, for obvious reasons. Number 4 was Another, which I thought was higher up on the list until I realized that we had just written these other titles like 400 different ways. Hellsing was number 3 on the list. Number 2 was Ghost Stories, which always seems to make I think the last time we did this, it was on there too. And the number one anime to watch on Halloween is Soul Eater. So
I've never seen Soul Eater. Is it actually good?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's fine. The biggest problem is that it's 50-some episodes. It's not... When I think of a holiday movie, I think of something I can watch standalone on that day. And I guess Soul Eater, if you started it during October and just watched it throughout the month, that makes sense, and it definitely has the aesthetics for it. But it's not just to sit down and just watch it all that one day and binge through. Like, for me, my Halloween movie would be Mononoke.
But I feel like there's not like a ton of options that would fit that criteria in terms of anime.
I mean, if you're
ones
at
that are
least
like
under 12
entertaining.
episodes.
But me, I would probably choose Shiki or Higurashi. And I know that kind of goes against your perspective, Mason, but I feel like they have like the
20
Halloween
episodes
vibes
you could binge
into it.
through.
20 episodes. Higurashi's even longer than Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, maybe not. There's
Well, it
3
depends
seasons.
if you
but they have
break
so
it
many
up into the
seasons,
different seasons. You could watch one
fair
season of Higurashi in a day.
But you can't
But you
watch
couldn't watch
season.
all of it.
But you can't watch season 1 of Higurashi without watching season 2. You won't even know what that's about. They don't even they don't give you anything in the first season. All they do is give you this violence.
I do say that Higurashi is good to watch on Halloween, but I will say I've never actually been able to finish the first season because it can be a really slow burn. And it has moments of being really good for Halloween, but it takes a lot to get through, and I've never been able to finish it.
I'd argue that the first season of Higurashi is not very good.
Yeah.
The second season is really good. The first season is kind of
Also,
like
a more recent choice. I really liked Miruko-chan, so if you want to get something newer.
That
to
was
watch
on the
for Halloween,
list.
I would
Let
recommend.
me take a look at my database here. I have all this in a pivot table. Makes it easy. Miruko-chan was like 11th.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was on the list. So
Can you say how many people voted in the poll? Since it was kind of like a.
I usually, a lot of these polls, I just stop it at 100 usually. So as soon as 100 people vote, I just end it.
Oh, okay. So I like that we
that's-
got quite a bit of response there, even if it was in a short amount of time.
Well, yeah, because
Obligatory Caroline question about school live. Yay or nay for Halloween?
I don't know. I mean, it can work. It's a little bit more on the comedy side for a lot of it. So
Yeah, I don't think it'd be Halloween worthy.
but it's fun. I like it.
yeah.
It is an anime, I'll give you that.
For me, I think
Shut
that
up.
something shorter is better because Halloween is only one night. And after Halloween's over, like no one gives a shit. So I would pick something. This is kind of an answer I would always give, but I still think one of the best anime horror movies is still Magnetic Rose. I think it's still one of the best. Certainly looks like one of the best. Perfect Blue, which you watched recently, Caroline, would be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
So that's up there. And I don't know. I just feel like you're going to get pretty good amount of viewing time and a little more intensity from a movie. So I'm sure there are others I'm not thinking of. I know some people put the Cowboy Bebop movie that was on here. That came in at number 9, which barely has anything to do with Halloween. I mean, it just happens to take place on Halloween. So, did you answer, Mason?
Yeah, I said Mononoke.
Oh, okay, that's a good. one.
But you can also do Paranoia Agent. That's also kind of spooky.
Yeah.
And
Jinro.
Uzumaki,
yeah.
whenever that comes out, I'm sure. it
Oh,
will be good fun.
please. Adult Swim win. Give it to me.
The Ayakashi Samurai Horror Tales, which has part of Mononoke at the end of it, is all 3 of those stories are pretty solid, and they're about 4 episodes each. And the first one's really good. So, you guys want to move on to the next one?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, we only have so much time. So,
Oh, Vampire Hunter D from Gohan
Yeah.
Trunk fans. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna be watching that for Anime Club this week, or we're gonna be discussing it.
oh wow, okay. Well, go ahead and pick your next one, Mason. I guess.
Next one, top video game to play on Halloween.
Oh,
So, a 3-way tie for 5th. We have Until Dawn, Phasmophobia, and Amnesia. Number 4 is Outlast. Number 3 is Silent Hill. Number 2 is Dead Space. Number 1, Resident Evil. I'm guessing it's just any of them. Just any Resident Evil wins.
yeah, for those top 3, people were like Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, Resident Evil 2, 3, 4,
Just
whatever.
bunch them together.
I lumped them all. I still say, well, I'm surprised Fatal Frame didn't get higher. Fatal Frame 2 is really, but Crimson Butterfly is very scary, but I still think Silent Hill 2 is the scariest game ever made. That game scared the living shit out of me when I was younger. Pyramid Head is a marvel of horror. I mean, he is pretty special as a horror character.
Horror icon.
So definitely a horror. I mean, for sure. And they're still doing Pyramid Head at Anime Cons. The game came out like 25 years ago.
Because it's the greatest costume to show your ripped physique but hide your ugly face. That's why I would do it.
Yeah. Oh man, and you can justifiably just bang undead nurses at will. So yeah.
It's the American dream.
Yeah.
But
Dab.
Nice.
dab. So, but for me, yeah, honestly, yeah, Silent Hill 2 is going to scare the living shit out of you. So, I mean, it's like, there's nothing quite like extremely low lighting areas with like something that looks human but isn't quite human, like slithering around on the floor awkwardly, and all you have to defend yourself is like a piece of wood. It's like, that's Silent Hill for you. Good luck. You're going to have to beat this enemy to death with like a piece of wood. That's all you get. No machine gun, no nothing. So, yeah.
Now, I play a limited amount of video games, and I don't think I've ever played a scary video game. But as a person that really was addicted to YouTube Let's Plays back in the day, the first thing that comes to mind is Slender Man and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Slender
Man was pretty good.
Oh, man.
That was
Slender
a fun
Man
one.
is fucking scary. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was scary for a lot of people at first, but then once you play it like a few times, it's like more of an annoyance to get caught in the game.
It's a lot like Phasmophobia, where the first couple times are scary, but then you get a really good look at the enemy and you're like,
He's a cryptid.
I'm not so scared. It's a little too
Yeah.
janky, and you're like, whatever. It's
But there
just
is
fun. It
something
becomes funny.
If you're like immersed enough and then suddenly you see a figure stalking you, that does creep the hell out of you.
It is effective for sure. It wears out quickly. So I don't play
Yeah.
scary video games because I'm a big baby. But Bloodborne, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good game, and it's kind of Halloween-y, and it definitely will make you poop your britches the first time through. So
and that game's scary just from how difficult it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my vote.
Aw, my mom ate the last of my Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh my god.
No.
On that note, would you like to go, Caroline, to what the best Halloween candy is?
Sure. Okay, let's head to our 5th place rank, which is Skittles. I hate
Skittles.
Skittles.
Skittles is
I am not a big fan of candy that is not chocolate.
so. All right. So wait. All right. So I am a gummy worm guy,
Okay, I like gummy worms.
but Skittles are too sweet. They have too much sugar in them. I
And
feel
they
Well, that's
like
why you need
too
to do
much
the
like
sugar-free
M&M,
gummy bears,
and-
Mitts.
what?
It prepares me for M&Ms, but they are not M&Ms.
Sugar-free gummy bears, trust me, it's a grand time. Nothing better.
Yeah, but I can definitely have some gummy worms and all that. I have not had one in a very long time, though.
It's like aren't those made for like diabetics? Like, who wants a sugar-free gummy bear?
People who want a toilet experience that they've never experienced before.
A toilet. I didn't.
Have you not heard about these?
Oh my god. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not surprised they exist. I mean, people that are diabetic want to have candy too. I mean, I get it.
If you don't know,
Okay.
look up sugar-free gummy bears and the horror stories behind it.
Oh
It's
my
truly the best Halloween candy.
That is truly scary.
Um,
Create a Jackson Pollock inside your toilet bowl. Wow.
Oh, wonderful. 4th place, we got candy corn,
This-
which I'm not a huge fan
disavowed.
of, but it's iconic. It's iconic.
Disavowed.
It made another list. Which is impressive.
It did, but
You gotta
what
And
the
give it
fuck,
I
people?
saw that too. And I'm like, that is very interesting. 3rd place, rightfully so, at least, is Kit Kat.
Agree. Kit Kat is
Love
strong.
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like the dark chocolate Kit Kats? Because those are my favorite.
I like, man, the Kit Kat is. I like the pretzel ones. I like all of them. I love all and the thing about a Kit Kat is that there's so many different ways to eat the Kit Kat that is
Yes.
part of the experience.
I am partial to biting the top off of it and getting to the middle there and then eating the rest of it.
There you go. Of course, why not?
2nd place, Twix. And I've actually never really been a big Twix person. I don't know why. But I mean, I'll eat them, of course, but like
It's
for some
the
reason-
caramel. It's the caramel. However you want to
Yeah.
say it. Something about that just isn't my jam.
Yeah, maybe it is because of that. Any other thoughts on Twix?
No.
And 1st place, rightfully so, as we just talked about it, are Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Destroyed this poll. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups had almost as many answers as 2, 3, 4, and 5 combined.
Wow.
So it was just a massacre, and it's not wrong. I mean, a single wrapped pumpkin-shaped Reese's cup is a strong fucking offering.
Well, it usually does not really look like a pumpkin. It just looks like a blob. But you see what they're going for.
Fair enough. So first of all, my answer to this is going to be, I got to stick to my guns. I would like to have the miniature wrapped Sour Patch Kids. So like, the ones that have like eight of them in there and they're just like small wrapped. I really like Sour Patch Kids. I just don't want to, Reese's are amazing. But I don't want to just say Reese's again. So Sour Patch Kids, I don't know if anybody else even... Oh, yeah, they did. Sour Patch Kids came in 10th. Kind of uncommon because they normally come in a giant bag, but yeah.
Now, here's a question. Do you guys say Reese's or Reese's? Because growing up, I never heard anybody call it Reese's. But now I'm an adult and everyone calls it Reese's.
You only say Reese's
You're not Reese's
when you follow
Reese's
it with
Pieces.
Pieces. Yeah.
Yes, you're Reese's Pieces, not Reese's Pieces.
Reese's
but
Pieces.
It's more fun to say it that way.
It is
I
kind
don't
of funny.
say Reese's. I don't say Reese's Pieces. I say Reese's Pieces, and I say Reese's Cup. What is wrong?
If you ever wanted to know what having a stroke sounded like, listen to that part of the podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Is that your answer, Caroline? Reese's?
I've always said Reese's.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Reese's sounds wrong.
So the way I perceive this question is you go out to one house to get candy and you get one thing and you come back. And what's going to make you the happiest? So I like Sour Patch Kids. I like candy corn. I like some weird stuff just because it mixes up the chocolate, If you're getting just chocolate and just chocolate, that, the Sour Patch Kid, the Skittles, you're like, oh, it's something different. And that's nice. But if I'm getting one singular piece, I want it to be Reese's. And the best part is any variant is good, whether you get their Take 5 version, the Nutrageous, the super big cup with the extra peanut butter. Like whatever version or OG, it's all golden. It's all so good. So I grew up eating Reese's for breakfast, my guy. So
Damn, sir.
Dyed in the wool Puffs boy.
So there were two really funny answers to this. So for each of these, when they were just answers that were just absurd, I wrote them down. And I do have some stories. I'm going to read some stories. I'm going to read one right after we do this. Two answers. One person wrote, the best Halloween candy is, and I shit you not, ghost-shaped marshmallows dipped in pumpkin spiced mayonnaise.
What?
It's like the ultimate favor explosion, bro. That's what they wrote.
And that sounds like a demented peep.
What?
Okay,
and peeps are already messed up, so...
What the fuck is pumpkin spice mayonnaise?
You really lost me there. Because
Jesus,
at first I was like, okay, marshmallows, enjoy. Pumpkin spice something. Okay, could it be like a chocolate-covered marshmallow with chocolate spice flavoring?
No,
that sounds
not,
really
Caroline.
good. What the frick is pumpkin spice mayonnaise?
Listen.
And why would you put that on a marshmallow?
I like all those things individually. Why wouldn't they be good together? I'll try it.
I don't know. Yeah, the other answer that I don't even know what this is. Room temperature freezy? Is a freezy one of those like liquid ice pops?
I assume so.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't know.
Okay. No
But
one
that's
should get
hilarious.
that. That's lame as shit.
Gross and hilarious.
That's worth egging someone's house if they give you like a fucking unfrozen freezy. Like, fuck off with that.
Best Halloween candy, raw eggs, baby. It got the protein. You can sip on it on the go and keep on churning.
Would
Okay.
you rather the unfrozen freezies, whatever that is, or an apple, Mitsuki?
I'll take the apple.
I throw the apple through their window. Perfect. It's like a baseball. Go right through there.
Okay.
I'm gonna read a
Maybe
story.
we should get into the next, or the other candy category that we have here. Candy question.
I'm gonna read a story first. We have 5 heavily curated stories.
All right.
There were 100 stories. I read them and I picked out 10, and then Pancake narrowed it down to 5. So I'm gonna play some Halloween music here while I do this. So I don't know who submitted these. So yeah. While on call at the hospital, by the way, this was your wildest Halloween story. While on call at the hospital on Halloween night, a teenage girl who was dressed up as a zombie came to the ER because she dislocated her hip when she slipped at a haunted house. When we pushed the sedation medication to her to put her hip back in place, she started moaning and flailing her leg around, which was very much not where it should have been, making the most accurate zombie costume anyone will ever see.
I can already take a guess on who submitted that.
Could have been
But
Raggedy
that-
Doctor, but good story.
It could have been. But that's kind of cool. I mean, kind of gross too, because dislocated hip. Ew.
Yeah.
But
Oh, very bad. The bruise must be insane. I can't even imagine the bruise. What the swelling? I mean, good God. Jeez. You must have
I've
to
never
use.
dislocated something before, and I am eternally grateful.
I don't have any information about this, but my impression is that putting a hip back in its socket must take tremendous force. I mean, you must have to really hit that fucker hard to get that thing back in there. All right, the next category is what candy would you give out to the rude punks in your neighborhood? So I just pause there as I fight off a sneeze.
This is a tough question because before you read out the responses, you run the risk of there not being enough rude punks in your neighborhood, and then you are left with the candy in your house.
I don't know how you determine who is and isn't a rude punk.
Well, they're
I mean,
the
I don't know.
kids that, like, you know,
Don't say
ride their
trick or
bikes in the
treat.
middle of the street, that don't make way for cars. They're the ones that never say hello or thank you. Not that I have anybody in my neighborhood, really. My neighborhood's, like, very much, like, old
Or people like Jimmy who live 2 doors down on house number 64.
Fuck you, Jimmy.
I see you, Jimmy. I hate you so much. I hate your guts.
You
You're
little
getting
bitch.
black licorice every day if I had a choice. I hate you.
Jimmy brings his
Jimmy
dog
ruins
up
my
your
life.
yard, lets the dog poop, and doesn't clean it up.
Black licorice is on this list, but let's find out where. Number 5 was Dots, and I want to say Dots don't
I
suck.
love Dots.
I do too. I think they're fine. They taste like fruit. They're fruit-flavored gummies. They're not that far from gummy worms, and you're wrong. Just saying.
But they're like we can agree they're an inferior gummy product. Like there is really no flavor besides plastic to them.
the problem with
Like
Dots
they're
is that
fine to
Those,
eat.
I'll take them.
They don't get like lodged in your gums for 7 years like some gummies. Like they're just forgettable. No
Well-
one's like, wow, those dots were, whew, they hit the spot. That was exactly what I needed.
so the problem with Dots is that they're too chewy. So that's definitely a candy that you end up having to pick out of your teeth for like 10 minutes, which is kind of unfortunate. Number 4 was Tootsie Rolls. I sort of agree. I mean, I don't know.
I
There's
hate
a lot. I like the fruit flavor Tootsie Rolls decently, but yeah, these are
I don't think I've ever had one of those.
Oh, I fuck with the vanilla. I'm a
the
weirdo.
vanilla, the strawberry.
It's not bad.
Number
Like,
3
where
was
do you get
Whoppers. Whoppers are ass. Man, that's a fucking terrible. I am 100% sure that we got the worst 3 candies in this top 3. And I will tell you, last Halloween, it'll happen this year too, someone brought an enormous bowl, like just a giant fucking bowl of Halloween candy upstairs to my office area where they always are putting all the food that people eat during training. And then you will find out what the worst candy is in the bowl because it's always the one that's last. And it's last time it was Whoppers. The last thing was just a fucking ton of Whoppers. Nobody wanted that crap. So number 2 was black licorice because it's terrible. Anise,
Yeah.
anise is just not a good flavor. I mean,
I don't really get why people will go for that. Like, if they're Twizzlers, I can fuck with some Twizzlers. But black licorice?
well, Twizzlers is red licorice, and that is solid. Licorice rope, super solid. But yeah, number 1 was candy corn. I mean, it's terrible. Let's see how.
I just think it's so funny. It made 4th place in the best Halloween candy and 1st place in the worst one, basically.
I mean, it is the Halloween candy. So I get that. And I don't hate candy corn. It's fine for the first 3 pieces. And then you're like, okay, I'm done.
All right, I did a candy corn eating game at the last Halloween episode in last year. I kind of be mad I didn't bring that back this year.
Similarly
How did
to
jelly beans not make the list? Sorry, go ahead, Mitch.
jelly beans, they're not really
They're
on
only
here.
for Easter.
So similarly to the Reese's, candy corn had about as many responses as all the other top 5 combined. There were some. So for me, man, candy corn is ass. The candied pumpkins are the worst. That's the worst.
Oh, easily.
They're fucking horrible.
What if
Who
we just
eats
had
that shit?
4 candy corns fused together into a spherical
God.
bomb of crud?
Werther's Originals are up there too. That's a terrible fucking candy. I mean, that's
That's not even candy, though.
like something your grandmother.
That's old man sucking.
It's terrible. God. Did you guys answer?
I mean, black licorice is just bad. No one gives it out though, so it's not really. I don't know. It's just a terrible flavor besides the 5% of people who are like, yeah, what are you talking about? Black licorice is good. No, you're weird. That's just how
Yeah,
it is. I'm sorry.
I can deal with candy corn. I can deal with Whoppers, and I like Dots pretty okay. But I could never like want to eat black licorice or a Tootsie Roll. Just can't.
Yeah, I'm with you, Caroline.
So there were some funny responses to this. One person wrote a pack of one single M&M, and they spelled it like the rapper, which is just funny. I'd give them the biggest candy bar I have of Mr. Good Bar, so I'm nice and naughty at the same time. Okay. Whatever they were allergic to.
Nice.
Oh no, that's a little far.
There were worse responses than that. I had to take them out. They were just
What,
basic,
like Reese's?
Oh, like
Did someone
razor
say
blade.
Reese's?
no,
for
like
worse
implying
candy?
implying killing people, like for real.
Ah, the razor blade variant of my
Nope.
favorite candy.
Nope, like more like lacing the candy with things that kill people.
Mm.
I
Oh
took
my
that out.
god.
Someone wrote.
Anthrax is what gives it that special something.
Somebody wrote terrible anime recommendations, and someone wrote for the rude punks I would give out toothpaste flavored licorice with a side of expired kitchen ketchup packets. Take that, you little candy demanding rebels.
That's a little funny.
Would you
Mitch,
guys
do
like?
you know how stupid I am?
What?
When you talked about the guy who wrote Eminem, like the rapper, I thought you meant like the wrapping of an Eminem
No, like
package.
Eminem, like I'm
I
Slim
know
Shady.
the musical artist.
Yes. Artist.
In your candy bag. Wow.
Would you guys like another Halloween story?
Yes, please.
All right. The second one is there's 5 of these, like I said. Got way too drunk at a high school party, went back to my friend's place, and after falling down a flight of concrete steps and crushing his jack-o'-lantern, I proceeded to crawl inside and upchuck into his girlfriend's Uggs. I woke up with multiple male parts drawn across my face. Also, Nightmare Before Christmas is both a Halloween and a Christmas movie. I will die on this hill. There you go. That's the story.
Wow. That is a terrible story.
All right.
But he
Are
makes
you
some good
okay?
points, or she.
Mason, would you like to select the next? We have 2 more questions to read.
We have 2 more questions, and the segue from both of them go perfectly from that last story. But since the opinions were so strong, let's ask, is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween or a Christmas movie? Personally, I think the guy got it right. It's both. But 48.65% of you guys said it's a Halloween movie, and 51.35 said it's Christmas. So Christmas wins. What do we think about that?
You see, I'm also of the opinion that it's pretty even. But I would be more likely to watch The Nightmare Before Christmas during the Halloween time than the Christmas time.
So you phrased it differently than how I thought about it. Because if you were to ask me, when do you watch The Nightmare Before Christmas? You watch it in the Halloween time for me. But the movie itself is more of a Christmas movie. It takes place around Christmas. It has themes and metaphors and revolves around Christmas more than just the aesthetics of Halloween. So I would say it's a Christmas movie that you watch in October.
Maybe it's because I grew up with Disney Channel and they would always play this movie for Halloween, but not really for Christmas.
That's fair. Well, I think the big thing is I also want to make it kind of a Halloween movie because there are too many Christmas movies, but there's not enough Halloween movies. So I want to pull it to Halloween side to, level out the field a little bit. But in my heart, it's Christmas.
And I'm also basing it a lot on aesthetics. Like, the aesthetics are very much leaning towards Halloween than Christmas. Except for when, they're in Christmas Town. But even when they're in Christmas Town, like, it still has a twinge of creep
He's still
in
a
it.
skeleton, yeah. What do you think, Mitz?
I don't want to be lame and say both, so I'm going to say it's a Halloween movie. I think most of the movie takes place in Halloween Town, and I would say the majority of the songs people remember are from the Halloween side of things. There is, like, What's This, What's This? That's a famous song.
Well, that's Christmas.
Yeah, but, like, what I want to know is, I still am asking this question: how in the name of God, every other fucking animated movie that people love is a Broadway musical? How has this not made it to Broadway yet? I am utterly baffled by this.
Listen, it made it to Kingdom Hearts 1 and
Who
2.
fucking
What more
cares,
do you
bro?
need?
I mean, The Lion King, every Disney movie made it. I don't have a lot of references in front of me for other movies, but I'm sure there's other movies that made it that were animated. How in the hell, with all of its iconic music and how much people love this, man, Caroline's going to New York like the first fucking week if this gets made into a musical. I can just sense it.
I would. I mean,
I'm telling
maybe not
you
the
what.
first one, 'cause that would be extremely expensive, but
I'm still saying this like
It would
I've been
do
saying
well.
it, but you guys want to know the story?
yes, please.
This one's long, so I'm gonna read it here. We went to a big high school Halloween party after getting invited through a Facebook event. We were teenage boys, it says. The party filled up with tons of drunk teenagers as the night went on. After a few hours of drinking and having fun in the house was surrounded by cops, which we found out were tipped off by a school staff member who caught wind of the Facebook event. Me and my best friend had brought our freshman friend to his first ever party. The cops were let in and came in every door. I started covertly locating my group of friends. I found my best friend who was coming down the stairs, followed closely by a cop. Our younger buddy was nowhere in sight. As he was walking down, the cop was rounding up the kids on the ground floor. He looked up at us, dressed in slutty Harry Potter costumes. As soon as he turned his head to look around, we ran past him. He started chasing us until we jumped the fence. We lingered on the other side of the fence and saw our young friend on the balcony. There was a cop coming from the house and the outside to corner the kids. We screamed at him to jump. He noticed us and jumped off. As soon as he hit the ground, he started running towards us and made it over the fence. This time, the cops also jumped the fence, and we all ran as fast as our young legs could carry us, dressed in extremely tight girls' Halloween costumes. We managed to escape and run into some friends who were just showing up. We ended up being the only 3 kids who didn't get charged with some MIP charges. I'm not sure what that means. It was a legendary story, still reminisced as we approach 30 years old. There you go.
Wow.
Thank you for your submission, Lady.
My school life was very boring.
I don't know, just kidding.
Like, everyone has these crazy stories of going to parties, getting drunk, getting chased by cops, getting hurt. I mean, I'm glad I did not get hurt or chased by cops or drank too much or that kind of stuff. But I really wish I could have gone to a party.
All right, I believe it's Caroline's turn. This is the last question.
All right. What anime character would you make out with after getting drunk at a Halloween party? And I'm pretty sure with a lot of these, you didn't need to get that drunk to do this.
That's for sure.
Fifth place is a 4-way tie between Himeno from Chainsaw Man, Darkness, Akeno Himejima, and Marin Kitagawa. Very low, surprisingly.
All
but
of
all
which,
at 5th place.
Yeah, for real. I thought for sure Marin would be the number one. All of which are were in the waifu war. I think all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 cracks me up.
Honestly, most of them. So I guess any anime character that you see, you would want to make out with after getting drunk. Number 3, Holo.
That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely
number
endorsed.
2, Misato.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, Rias Gremory.
Had to be number 1. I mean, she's a succubus, I think, so that would be perfect. Now, there were 4 ones that I carved out here that I thought were funny. The first one said, the way I get drunk, any of... This is so wrong. I will change out some of the language for the kiddies out there. The way I get drunk, any of them with breasts. That's not what they wrote, but I changed. PG-13'd it. I don't know. Too young to drink. I also don't like parties with an apostrophe S.
You didn't have the party part is not exactly the most important thing in the question.
After getting totally smashed at a Halloween party, I'd make out with Count Chocula. I mean, he's a cereal box character, but he's got that mysterious chocolatey charm, you know?
At that point, you're just making out with a box of cereal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then the last one was any busty character from Chainsaw Man, maybe Aki too, anyone except Denji. That's very selective. Make out
That's
with
very
anybody.
unselective, really. It's fair game. Anyone, man or
Yeah,
woman.
pretty much
come at me.
anybody.
What about you guys? What would
Oh,
be your
jeez.
answer?
I mean,
I think it would be really funny to see someone really drunk making out with Toru from My Hero Academia, the person who's completely invisible. Because you're like,
Ah!
is he making out with anyone? Is he just really drunk? Like, how drunk is it? Is he just? Why is he licking the air like that? What is? It would just be a really
Ew.
funny idea.
I still say Roxanne from Harem Labyrinth. I'm sticking to my guns on this. Till I see someone better, I'm sticking with Roxanne.
My answer is gonna be Hawk from Rion of the Dawn because he's freaking hot. If I
There
see
you
a
go.
You
tall
guys are
drink
just
of
picking
water,
hot people.
dark hair.
Oh, yes, we are, Mason.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah. Would you guys like another story? This will be the last one.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm just doing these in order. So the last one here, which is quite long, is I apologize, but you also yeah. Anyway, in college, I attended a quite lively Halloween party in an on-campus apartment. You know, it was because one of the hosts decided to make make jungle juice, which is, we all know what jungle juice is. Everyone got very drunk. One of the other hosts was really feeling himself and dressed up as Gabraham Lincoln, is what they wrote. Yes, I do have a photo. Just imagine jean shorts, he cut himself and cut them way too short, rainbow knee-high socks, a top hat, and formal wear on top. It was fabulous.
I love that.
Unfortunately, Gabraham Lincoln got way too drunk and ended up passing out on his bed with his top hat on his chest between his hands, and his collection of friends around the bed looking like mourners in a dimly lit room. Basically, I'm saying a handful of us didn't realize that we were walking into what appeared to be the wake of Gabraham Lincoln. And that's my Halloween story.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. You should have given the inebriation proclamation right there.
Yes, that's fine. Oh,
I like that.
nice.
That's
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
All right, there's one more here. I'm not gonna. Well, I could read it if you really wanted. It's a little long. And
I
don't
like stories.
know- All right.
Let's take bets on if this person also got drunk in their story, because that seems to be a theme.
Me and my friend were going to the high school. It's not proofread. Me and my friend were going to the high school to play some football on the field and biked through the woods to get there. For context, the high school is right behind us with a forest separating our houses and the school. It was dark and we had finished trick-or-treating and I rode our bikes to the field. During our bike rides, there was this little trail. I saw something in the trees move. I thought it was a deer. My friends didn't see anything, and we continued on. He then saw something and was screaming at me, saying that it was standing up and staring at him. I just told him he was hallucinating, but remembered I had seen something too. Before I could say anything else, something just ran out at us and started screaming. We were freaked out and just bolted out of there without our bikes. We ended up walking back home, not through the forest, and walked about 4 miles on the road. Turns out that it was just the special needs kid in our neighborhood who always roams around, who happened to wear a mask that day. Me and my friend, though, still didn't retrieve our bikes, making our parents get it, and to this day, we still think the forest is cursed.
That's
There you
a
go.
good one. Wow, I love a good scary story.
I like innocent fun where people don't get hurt, so, whatever. Everybody
Oh,
has a
and
silly
speaking
story.
of which, I received the photo of Gabraham Lincoln from the
Fantastic.
one who are we saying names? Like, did they specifically say not to mention their name?
No one gave their names. on
Okay,
this.
so this is from Lady Emery, who a lot of people
Outed,
know around here.
doxed.
Yeah. So she sent me the
Doxed.
picture, and
There
it's
you go.
everything that I could have wanted. Thank you,
Oh,
Lady Emery.
Put that on the in the Discord, on our Discord, and I'll put it on the Twitch.
Okay, as long as she's okay with it. Let me give her a second, and she probably will. Oh yes, she says you can.
Well, that was in
no, she
regards
meant
to
just
saying
enter
her
your
name.
You're right about
So-
that. Lady Emery, what do you say?
There you go.
The faces are blocked out
Pixelated?
by emojis,
Okay.
so I think we'll be okay.
Okay. All right. Would you guys like to read the trivia question, as we have more podcasts to get to, but first we must do the news break.
All right, and she says that we can put the photo up, so yay! Here's the weekly trivia question. Who is the first character from Initial D to make an appearance in MF Ghost? And we will give you the answer to that question after our spooky news break, which is just the news break, but with spooky music.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is here, and it's time for your anime news break. Getting us started off with an isekai anime that has an insanely long title in both languages. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unraveled in the real world too. It is getting another anime project. The first season of this came out by Studio Millipensi with 13 episodes in the spring of 2023. Didn't really take very long for this one to get another one greenlit. It was on Crunchyroll. It adapts Miku's isekai fantasy light novel that they began writing back in 2017. If you're a big fan of this isekai cheat anime, well, there's going to be another project coming out, probably another season, I have to imagine. But I don't think just yet it has been officially announced as a full season. Next up, another anime getting another season with also an extremely long title. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, which is, I promise, way longer in Japanese, is getting another season. The first anime came out by Studio Project Number 9 with 12 episodes in the winter of 2023. So this one was written by Saeki-san, who began writing this romantic comedy novel back in 2018, and it is now getting another adaptation. So if you're a fan of this one, well, this one's also getting another season coming out. Next up, pivoting, Chainsaw Man's manga wins the Best Manga Harvey Award for the third straight year. The Harvey Awards honor outstanding work in comics and sequential art. Announced the award winners of this year's Comic-Con, which is where they did this at Comic-Con. Seems to win every single year. It competed against Wataru Nadatani's Cat Plus Gamer. Also titles such as Goodbye Eri, Hayao Miyazaki's Shuna's Journey, and Tatsuya Endo's Spy X Family. So Chainsaw Man has come out on top, even amongst titles involving Miyazaki and Spy Family, so good on that. And lastly in the news, it is Halloween season, and Halloween, well, seems to cause problems in Japan, particularly in Shibuya, which is the busiest intersection in the world. It's kind of insane how crowded that intersection is. But the local government would like it to be one of the safest as well, which is why they've asked people to refrain from celebrating Halloween in Shibuya. So the leadership of the Shibuya city announced this just recently after there had been a lot of problems from Halloween in prior years. Quote, the damage caused by over-tourism has become serious, resulting in property damage caused by drinking in the street, altercations with locals, and littering of large amounts of empty cans and bottles. In addition, every year during Halloween, the area around Shibuya becomes crowded, and it is nearly impossible to move traffic. So they are trying to just shut it down, people. Stick to your Halloween trains in Tokyo, I guess. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, back to the podcast. Anime Addicts, if you want to support the podcast this Halloween season, you can give us a great treat, greater than any Reese's Cups, greater than any Kit Kats. You can go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, support the podcast, help us pay the bills. We'll do our part. We'll keep bringing you great content every week to help support you and make your week more entertaining. You just have to go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon and give us a great treat this Halloween season.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Well, they were naked. They were completely naked.
Yeah, completely
the
naked.
show still is too cowardly to hang dong.
No one hangs dong.
Someone needs to do
Come
it.
on, mate. Come
if
on.
there was
Wait,
any show,
doesn't Dragon Ball hang dong?
The little baby dick.
you're only allowed to show penises if it's babies, which is, I hate that I have to say that.
Go get your manga of Dragon Ball, Mason. Let's flip to a page, see if it's got
Page
the-
9, what was it? Is that what we determined it was?
I
Something
can't
like that.
remember.
He didn't waste any time. He's like, it's been a whole 6 pages we have not shown penis.
Yeah, we gotta slap that on there.
We
Put
must
that on
show
the
this.
Macy's Day Parade.
It's dragging on the ground. It's destroying traffic. Cars are flipped
Jeez,
over.
okay.
Goku's giant schlong.
Moving on.
I have a question. When Goku transforms into a blue-haired Goku, do the carpets still match the drapes?
Doesn't his eyebrows change as well? His eyebrow color?
Yeah, probably.
Then I can think most definitely that the carpet has changed.
There you have it. An instant classic from last week.
Yeah, I was like, this feels kind of recent.
I just pulled up my Dragon Ball.
Yeah?
Double checking what page it was on. I was incorrect, unfortunately. It was not page 11. It was page 13.
One question worth asking, and I don't know how I didn't think of this before, is so we all know that new Dragon Ball coming out. It's got little kid Goku and all that other crap in it. I think that Akira Toriyama just wanted to find a way to show little baby Vegeta's penis. What do you guys think?
You're saying penis
Well-
is back on the menu.
I'm saying it's back on the menu in a big way. Akira Toriyama, he just craves it. He just wants you to love it as much as he does.
If I was Mitsuki right now, I would talk about, in detail, asking if Vegeta's bush has his similar widow's peak.
Oh,
Oh
Damn.
my god.
But thankfully, I'm no such degenerate, so we can move on to mailbag.
well, first we have an intro trivia question. With so much fun
yeah.
involved, I forgot to answer it. Who is the first character from Initial D to make an appearance in MF Ghost? You might have thought it was Takumi Fujiwara, but it indeed is not. It is Ryosuke Takahashi. Also, on this episode, we discussed prior today how Mitsuki didn't really prepare. I do have this picture for you, though, from Lady Emery. Here you go. Put it there. I don't have any magnificent, production content for you today on the podcast because I was out of town all week. But we do have a memory from Halloween circa 2019 when Anime Satan was on the Late 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 Show. And I thought maybe some of you are new listeners and you might enjoy hearing this for the first time. And some of you that have been around for a long time may or may not remember, but hopefully you'll enjoy hearing it again, so I'm going to roll it. It's time for the Late 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 Show. Coming at you live from the anime pit of hell itself, your host, Pope Mitsugi. With tonight's special guest, Satan himself. So I am sitting here with the man himself. You know him, many don't like him, few do. It's Satan himself. He's come to pay us a visit, a very rare visit, actually, from the anime pit of hell itself. Satan, it is so good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Well, Pope Mitsugi, you've sent me so much fine free labor over the years. So many Moe girls. I really owe it to your church. They do a fine job for me, but it's a good thing you send so many because these Moe girls, they can't do much. They're pretty weak, cry a lot, you know how it is.
Well, Satan, why don't you come visit us more often up here? We do like to see you.
Well, people don't really like me too much. They see me, they cry, they look at the horns and the tail, it just doesn't go well for me usually. I'm a very misunderstood creature, but, it is Halloween season, so let's have some fun.
Well, you're always welcome in the church, Satan. Anyway, what sorts of things do you have the Moe girls doing for you down there in the pit of hell?
Well, some of them bottle the tears of sinners, sweet bone dust, cry mostly. Sometimes I like to watch them cry too. It brightens my day actually. Oh, and rub my feet. My feet smell pretty bad and hairy too. Oh, very hairy. I am Satan after all.
Here, let me see that. Let me see your feet.
Okay, hold on a second. Just let me take off my Satan shoes real quick.
Oh, holy Satan's butthole. That is a hairy foot.
Hey now. Easy. Take it easy.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, so what else do you have going on down there?
Well, we're building a stage for those little Moe girls from K-On! They're gonna have to change the music a little bit to be a little less, moe, but the amphitheater itself is going to be great. Big and great. And 10,000 moe girls' hands will probably be bloodied in the creation of this monstrosity, so that's pretty good. We have that going for us.
Oh, that's the Satan I know and love.
Oh, speaking of which, don't you think the pit of hell is a little too, what's the word? Aggressive, maybe?
Too aggressive? Well, that's not something I really expected out of you, Satan.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking an epic, endless slide, maybe a water slide. Listen, I mean, they're still going to get friction burns going down into the pit of hell. It's a long way down there. But non-broken moe girls can do a lot more work. You know, it would help me out a lot more. And besides, you know, it's just kicking them. It's just, I don't know. It just seems a little rough.
Hey, don't worry about that. Take a load off. Don't think about it. Look over here.
Saddam, I told you that I was still angry with you from our argument last night, and I swore that if you interrupted this interview, which you know how much it means to me, that I would bring down 2,000 years of darkness upon your head. You're always getting in my way, and you never let me have anything for myself, and you're always interrupting.
Hey, relax, guy. Trust me.
That's it. I warned you. No more Mr. Nice Satan.
Oh my god, what is happening? Well, anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks, Satan, for coming by. See you. I don't know if that holds up or not, but I was glad to use it again. Speaking of reusing assets. All right. And that
He's telling me say and that he does have his fans. I mean, who was it? Lady Emery who begged to sit on Daddy Satan's lap?
Oh. Wow.
Wasn't that during the anime confessionals or the trial or whatever?
That sounds a little hentai-like, which we're going to be doing after this podcast today, so very interesting. All right, let's get into mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag.
You can submit mailbags at aaapodcast.com by clicking the mailbag button, and you can send us any old question that you would like. I usually pronounce this way, Sejinther. I'm not sure why I couldn't say it the first time. He says, "Hello, my AAA host with the most. When a new anime season comes around, the tags often help search for shows that you might enjoy. I was wondering what new tags you would like, or you would make that might take your eye when sorting new shows to watch. I'd add the Shiro tag for shows that have a hot white-haired waifu,
Yes.
and the must protect tag, which for shows that have a cute character that you would defend with your life. Looking forward to your ideas." I would do tags like cute as hell, just like shows that would just make me go while watching it, because I love those. OTP, so I can, get through all the bad anime romances and just find the ones with really great couples. Iconic anime dance routine, because that's always great to see. Along those same lines, great OP, if it has that iconic dance routine in it. And colors that pop, because I love a good color palette. Mason, what do you think?
I want a tag for incognito or something that says, hey, you should probably watch this not in a public space, not around other people. Like, just, hey, heads up. Keep it to yourself.
Good idea.
I want a confirmed meme moment. So, you know that whole anime meme of, is this a bird, but it's a butterfly, or anything else like that? If a show gets a meme that's big and popular enough, it should be able to be like, okay, this show produced a legendary meme, and this is the source. So you can watch all the meme shows. And finally, edgelord, just a basic thing that lets you know what you're getting into is just going to be lowbrow violence and gory and edgy for the sake of all that, and you should just expect it instead of getting your hopes up with anything else. Or if you see a show that you expect to be like that, like Undead Girl Murder Farce or whatever, and it doesn't have that tag, you might be like, oh, there might actually be something to this show. So those are my suggestions.
Those are really good.
I didn't really know what the hell this question was asking. I mean, was this like when we do our hentai episodes and it has tags and you're like, You can tell what's in it just by the tags.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's kind of just exactly like hentai.
Not specifically hentai, but yes.
I mean, I think that if I had to say there were two specific things that really interested me right now, one would be sports, and one would just be trash as fuck. Like, if they could just take some of these trashy, like 90 Day Fiance or My 500 Pound Life or all these just trash TV shows people watch and made them into anime, that would be perfect. Like, I want to see an anime where just girls are fighting over some dude and they're just ripping each other's hair and stuff like that. Just
Domestic Girlfriend?
Just more trash, just filthy trash. Like that's
Yeah. I mean, sports
perfect.
is already a genre or a tag, but definitely trash would be a good one.
Yeah,
or
trash would
just
be good.
dumpster fire, I think is a better word for it.
Yeah, they just
I
put a
think they're
picture
different.
of the dumpster.
I think there's a
Yeah?
difference between a dumpster fire and trash. You know, it's subtle, but it's there.
Yes, I see you.
That's an interesting point. We should do that. That should be a topic. Dumpster or trash?
this would be a fun topic.
Oh wow.
Anything else, Mitsuki?
Not especially.
All right. So I guess we are heading into our first round of impressions. So should we explain for anyone who might be new around here just a general idea of
Sure.
how this all works?
So we as hosts select roughly 20 shows a season that we're going to be watching the beginning 25% of. So we tend to watch around 3 episodes of these anime, and we will decide. We each pass 2. So when we're all done with these 20 shows, we're going to have passed 6 anime that we think represent most likely the best shows of the season, or at least a big chunk of them. And we fail the rest. So most of them don't get passed. So, it's not that we're overly negative. It's more that we can't watch everything and review everything. And, and then you, as a listener, will be given an opportunity to pick the final 3 shows that we haven't picked already. So we do the listener choice afterwards. And that will be another 3 anime, bringing the grand total to 9. Which are then reviewed in total. We spend, usually like 40 minutes on an anime talking about it. So, and we haven't done anything yet. So today we are doing the impressions on the fall 2023 season, which is, good because the fall seasons are usually pretty competitive. They're usually amongst the best of the 4 seasons of the year, I would say. It's either spring or fall for the most part. And I don't know why that always is, but it's just how things seem to work out. So, I am going to start. I'm not going to be here next week, so I'm going to be doing more impressions than the rest of the crew here because I am visiting Tennessee for a possible relocation because it is just too damn expensive in Colorado to live.
Which is good for me because I'm eternally undecisive and can never make my passes until the last chance.
So I'm going to be doing my first impression on MF Ghost, which is... it's pretty clear after the second episode, which is all that's out right now, and frankly, I don't need a 3rd episode. A spiritual successor to Initial D, for sure. It is it's written by the creator of Initial D, Shuichi Shigeno. Initial D is a huge following, a 55 million copy manga. It's just ahead of a Gintama. It'll probably sell more from this thing being released. This anime really does put a lot of love into Initial D. So much so that you'll know that if you watch Initial D, you'll know that Move, a band from Avex or whatever, did pretty much every opening theme and maybe even the ending themes to just about all the seasons of Initial D. Well, that band broke up, but because they are just simply not going to fuck this up, it's pretty obvious. They brought Motsu, the singer of that band, the guy that does all the rapping, back to be featured in the theme song for MF Ghost. So it still sounds like the same band that did the first season because, I don't know, it's the same type of music, it's the same singer. What else do you need? And that just little touches like that are just making it very clear that this anime is, they're being very true to it. Also, and unfortunately for Caroline, you have to deal with the music from MF Ghost, which by itself is gonna carry this anime well beyond Overtake, because we have that bet and it has already slid well behind. And Caroline, how can you not just listen to this?
My life is getting cool, my heart is banging, loud, 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 that's gonna break out. You make me fall in love, I'm ready, baby.
I'm just calling you, cry. wanna see you dancing and moving for me. Come on, you gotta love this shit. Roger David.
Let go. It's a breakout fire, 'cause I'm down and I wanna fight it.
So imagine listening to this music while the new Takumi. So this kid named. So they have found an entirely new way to make this anime so engrossing. After the second episode came out, this anime jumped from a 7.4 immediately to a 7.7. It just took one episode because the main character, Livingston, who's a British guy who's from England, who Kanata Katagiri, they call him in this, but I think his like English name is Livingston or whatever. But he he joins this racing circuit called MF, and it's more based on like time trials. So as he's going down this mountain, they think he's just some rookie, and they put him in this 86, which is very reminiscent of Initial D, and he's racing down this mountain, and the mountain course is very long. It's like 40 kilometers, and it's got fog on it, very narrow roads, lots of dangerous things. And as he's going down this circuit, he starts out at like rank 80 or whatever. And as the time trials click in, they've got a drone following him. And as the time trials click in, he hits these checkpoints. They keep updating his times. And his rank keeps leaping. So he's like, oh, he's in 60th. He's in 55th. And his friends are losing their fucking minds. He's in 40th. And he hits this section where like most drivers go really slow. But because his thing is that he has like created a mental, he memorized the whole course. He's playing it in his head. And as he's racing through this one section, there's so much fog on the course. But because he saw it without the fog, he's so confident in his ability to just rip through this section where everybody else is going really slow because it's dangerous. And you just know as he comes through this section, he's going to jump really hard in the rank. And he jumps to like 28th. All of a sudden, they're on the phone, and you see Ryosuke Takahashi coming out of surgery. Because as you'll remember in the Initial D, he was in med school. And they're talking to Ryosuke about this new guy that's like coming out of nowhere, and he races just like Takumi. And they end in the middle of that like time trial, but it's probably going to take the whole second and maybe even the whole third and maybe even the fourth episode because he's only like part of the way through the race. And it's just very exciting to not know how far in the ranking he's going to climb. Like, will he end up first in the time trial? Is he going to end up fifth? Like you just don't know where he's going to go. And there's just an excitement that the author has managed to craft by the suspense of how far his ranking will jump in the time trial when he hits the next checkpoint. And Pancake and I were discussing this. This author, his writing style and the way that he does things with the way that they race has persisted successfully ever since the beginning of Initial D came out in like the early 2000s or whatever. It's almost 25 years of proven, tested success with this writing style, and it's fucking awesome. I mean, this is the easiest pass in like, I don't know, a million years for me. I mean, this anime is fucking dope. If you like Initial D, you're going to be dancing in your fucking underwear in your bedroom. And if you're into racing, it looks so good. Like, it looks so much better than Initial D looked at the beginning of season 1. And it was so good back then that no one even gave a fuck. It looked like the jankiest garbage CG cars you've ever seen in your life. And somehow Initial D just kept plowed right through there, and people didn't even care. It was so engrossing. And now you're just watching the same thing with rezzed up animation, and it just looks awesome. And you also have Ren Saionji, who's finally, the author, has got a cute girl character in these anime. She's like, they call her Angel number 7 or whatever, and she stands at the starting line, with her little angel costume on, and she's just like this hot. I think she's like a high school
Angel
senior.
number 1 through 6.
I don't know.
They're there, just no one cares about them.
No one cares about them. So
I mean, everyone in this show looks like they have a bit of a potato face. That's just how he draws characters.
Yeah, it's true.
But there's a charm to it.
Yeah. So it's so good. And I have third episode comes out tomorrow, and I have full confidence that it's just going to continue to be fucking incredible. And in the credits, the last thing I'll say is that Takumi's in the credits, although he has no voice actor, so I don't know what that means. Keisuke and Ryosuke, Itsuki, Iketani, Wataru, Kenji, almost the entire cast of this anime is from Initial D. So that's what you can expect from this. It's an easy pass. Now, if I could just find my pass drops on my soundboard, we'd be in good shape.
Yes! Now this is going to be a good story.
You know, I just remembered we never played the introductory impressions
We'll do it in post.
clip.
Oh, yeah.
Impression time. Believe it that way.
Believe
Believe
it. Oh, got it.
First
I mean,
pass
MF
right out the
Ghost-
gate.
You could also watch it without seeing Initial D if you had to. Gun to your head.
Yeah,
But-
you don't need to see it, but it's just there's a lot of homages and stuff. So this takes place just southwest of Tokyo, whereas the Initial D before was northwest of Tokyo, I believe, like in Gunma. So you don't need to see the original Initial D to watch this at all. But
Yeah.
you
My
you
guess
should
is
watch
most
it.
people who haven't seen it will give this a shot and then want to go back. And I think that will be just as valid a way of doing it. But yeah, both are good.
Yeah.
Both absolutely rip.
Yeah, I mean, Initial D's got 5 seasons, and they're all above an 8 on Mao, and this anime will end up at above an 8 also. I can't see any reason why that won't happen. Mason, I think you're up.
Yeah, I will start with Firefighter Daigo, Rescuer in Orange.
I love the title.
So, yeah, this is essentially a workplace sports anime. It's got competition, it's got training, and it's got intensity. And it is about 3 characters who want to become elite firefighters. So they are taking place in the special training course system that, weeds out the regular firefighters from the cream of the crop. So this is on by Brainspace, and it's on Crunchyroll. And honestly, I was so surprised with how quick episode 1 flew by. It just was effortless. It was smooth, and it was a blast. I was like, okay, I'm into it, There was really a lot of love and attention that went into the mechanics of being a firefighter, from the code words for how to refer to different situations, the kind of positioning, and if this team member is doing this, you need someone on the ground doing this person communicating, this person running hose. Like, there was just a lot of thought, and I was like, yeah, firefighting, cool. But it wasn't just, oh, we're fighting fires. There's just a lot of charm to it, and it felt like a sports anime when their different characters are competing for these last couple spots of who passes this elite firefighting thing. There was some, not sabotage, but some rivalry. They're doing squats, they're doing push-ups. You're like, yeah, I want to be a firefighter. I want to get amped up. So I was really intrigued after episode 1. I was a little let down episode 2 because like the first 6 minutes was a recap of episode 1. Like, they took a lot of time going through the end of episode 1, like almost shot for shot. And then that carried forward to episode 3, where a good portion of the beginning of episode 3 was just replaying episode 2. And I get it. You need to give people a little bit of a, hey, the last time on Firefighter Orange, this happened, but come on, don't waste my time. And essentially, while it was visually all right starting off, it began to falter early and it only got worse and worse. And by the end of episode 3, there were some really shaky, literally, earthquake scenes and some fist bumps that were just a little too dragged out. So there's, it had an endearing inspiration to it, but it started to fade. And this isn't a must-watch at all. This is a better mid than most. I'm a sucker for workplace and training kind of shows to begin with, so I was already kind of being appealed to. But for most people, I think it's going to quickly lose the spark it had. So while not bad, better than expected, I will be failing Firefighter Daigo. It's just not doing much.
Were they handsome firefighters, though?
They were okay-looking firefighters. They
Aw,
were realistic
come on.
firefighters.
Come on.
And I do like the whole beginning of an arc. So essentially, episode 3 ends, they complete the training, spoilers. But now they actually enter the workforce, and we'll get more of them doing stuff. And, it's been engaging so far. The characters are all right. I like the female firefighter who's just really having to battle up against the, genetic limitations of, I am just not as strong naturally as my male counterparts, and having to deal with that and overcoming it, and that's just really cool. And I'm interested to see where her story goes. So yeah, it's doing some interesting things. This is such a stacked season in some ways, so it didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Not as hot as the hentai ones, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I mean, come on, we can't expect. Let's not get crazy now. So
Should I go next?
I think
I only have one to really talk about.
Yeah, I think I need to keep going because I have 4.
All right.
So the next anime here is Goblin Slayer Season 2. Now, people that have been listening to this podcast since Goblin Slayer Season 1 came out, which, by the way, was like, I don't know, a long fucking time ago. How old is that now? 2017-ish? I'm going to take a guess and just say 2017. I'm not 100% sure without checking. But you'll know that I was not a huge fan of Goblin Slayer Season 1, but I liked it pretty well. I mean, people were all mad about it, but I enjoyed the savage violence of it. I mean, let's be honest, like, I don't know. After you've watched as much hentai as I have for this podcast, the stuff in Goblin Slayer doesn't really, like, move the needle, to be honest. People... anyway, hentai is just ridiculous. Goblin Slayer Season
2018, if you wanted to know. Sorry.
I was fairly close, but thank you. So I believe this is a different studio, as my computer just literally seizes up and my anime list just fails to function. So this is done by Linden Films. I don't think they did Goblin Slayer Season 1. I could be wrong, but I
no,
don't
White
think so.
Fox did.
And this is just not as interesting as Season 1, unfortunately. I mean, it just doesn't... The first episode was almost entirely a throwaway. They do nothing. I mean, really, he kills a couple goblins in the beginning, and it's not much to look at. It takes like 30 seconds. And like this character named, this little like glasses type character shows up, who's not even in the fucking credits on here. I don't know who the hell is his name. I don't even know. Is this it right here? Nope, that's a redheaded chick with the big boobs. He's not even in the credits on here. So this little like obnoxious mage character shows up who also just happens to want to kill goblins for some unknown reason. But he's super inexperienced. He's like totally green. He's never even been in a dungeon. And his name is Majutsushi. Okay. And he, just ruins this whole season so far. I mean, he's just like this obnoxious little glasses wearing like twerp who I just hope gets like just gored by a goblin or by a troll at some point in this. But they do nothing in the first episode. I don't know. Goblin Slayer shows up and turns in a ton of shit and gets a lot of money from the guild. Then he takes like 50 more goblin quests, and they all buy a bunch of, him and his party buy a bunch of stuff to hunt down these goblins. Second episode was a little better. They go down into the first dungeon. You get a pretty decent scene where, there's a giant troll, and the team is way better at handling it than they were in the last season. And, Goblin Slayer kills a bunch of goblins extremely violently. The goblins have a chick tied up in a chair because they just always do. And they don't really do anything with that, though. And little redheaded twerp doesn't die, and I was very sad about that. And just honestly, it just wasn't very good. I could see it getting better. The whole reason that people watched Goblin Slayer in Season 1 and even remembered it was because it was just a really savage type show. There was a lot of violence. There was sexual content. You thought the whole party was going to get killed at one point, and you were pretty sure they were all going to die. And the second season just hasn't had the same visceral sort of like in your face, shell shock that the first season probably did. And because of that, it's just a fail. I mean, it's just not, without that sort of content, this anime has nothing. It's just another show where people go around and take quests from a guild. It might as well be an isekai anime. The Goblin Slayer himself is still a decent character, but he doesn't have much personality, and he can't carry the show unless he's chopping things in half with a sword and spraying blood all over walls. So because of that, it's a fail.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
That one might come back. We'll see. I am not sure.
I hope not. I have not seen Season 1, and
I don't think you need to.
I know, but I prefer to have context for things, so.
Well, it's not
My
wrong.
eyes, the goblins, they do nothing.
Anyway. I guess you're up, Caroline.
All right. So my first and only review for today is Ron Kamahashi's Forbidden Deductions, or
What?
I'm gonna have trouble saying this guy's name. Kamonohashi Ron no Kindan Suri. So
What the hell
this
title is that?
It's just the title.
It's just a weird
didn't make
title. I
that.
don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So, main character here is Totomaru Ishiki. He is a member of the Metropolitan Police Department investigative team, and he is not very good at his job. His coworkers say that he is naive and foolish, and so they give him grunt work to do despite him wanting to help out with their murder crimes and all that. So he's given advice to reach out to this guy named Ron Kamonohashi, who was at the top of his class in this detective training academy. So yeah, those are things where I think this is basically what they said, quote unquote, 100% of the best detectives are graduates of. So it's one of those. But in the years since, he has stopped working on cases, and he has basically become a hikikomori. He is very L-like in appearance because he's very messy looking, and he also has an eccentric nature to him. At first, he refuses to help find a serial killer that's on the loose that Totomaru wants to try to find. But then he changes his mind and he helps him solve the case in a very Sherlock Holmesian fashion. But here's the thing: as they apprehend the killer, Ron reveals why he's not allowed to be a detective, and the reason is very weird. Whenever he confronts a killer, he sort of gets possessed, and he orders the culprit to kill themselves, and then they get basically hypnotized into doing so. So he says, "Go jump off this roof. People who take lives do not deserve the chance to live," and blah blah blah. But it's obviously not him saying this, because he doesn't even remember saying this afterwards. He's just gets possessed into doing this. But luckily, Totomaru is able to save them whenever he does this. And because of this, Ron wants him to be his partner and take the credit for his cases, because Ron's old academy would kill him if they found out that he was taking on cases again, because he has this tendency to literally murder murderers. Yeah, so that's kind of gets established in the first episode. Second episode gets a little bit more ridiculous, with Totomaru being assigned to a case about a woman's piggy bank missing coins. This is a piggy bank that she got from the general store. I know.
It's written for 3-year-olds.
First episode was serial killer solving. Second episode is women with a piggy bank that is feeling a little lighter. They have not even established if there are missing coins in this piggy bank. She just says, "This piggy bank feels lighter. Let's get the police involved." And so for some reason, the police take this case. So they give it to Totomaru because he is useless at this job. So he's like, "Go work on that while we work on this murder case in the background." So this is just ridiculous. It turns out that this situation is connected to that murder that they're working on, but by the end, it was still just as ridiculous, because I won't get into it, but yeah. Ron and Totomaru overall, they have a pretty good dynamic. I like the two of them, but Totomaru's straight man routine can get kind of irritating to me because he has very over-the-top reactions. Sometimes they're pretty funny, other times they're yelling for yelling's sake, you know? Overall, the show is not bad, and I actually kind of like the first episode, but this inclusion of the silly detective academy and Ron's superpower and piggy bank mysteries, it just doesn't give me much hope for it being great, so I am gonna fail it.
I was surrounded by the suck.
There you have it. Oh boy, I'm up again. Okay, what is this anime in English? It's got a very, a certain middle-aged man's VRMMO activity log. I hate the use of the words "a certain." What does that even? It's so, I don't know. It just annoys me. A certain what? A certain man.
It makes you uncertain.
Why don't you just say a middle-aged man's See, it's just like it's a non-fluency. If I say a middle-aged man's VRMMO activity log, and I say a certain man, middle-aged man, it's the same fucking thing. Just you're adding words for no reason. Anyway, Maho Film brings you an instant classic. Maho Film has done such masterpieces. As I sort this by score. Jeez, it's like one of the worst studios that's ever been put out.
Such masterpieces.
Yeah.
I mean, such pieces, such as.
Let me give you an idea of how bad the studio is. They have never cracked a 7.2 on here. Their best anime is I Am the Villainess, So I'm Taming the Final Boss, according to the ratings. And everything else is like sub 7.0. Including this one. So a new type of VRMMO game called One More Free Life Online is out. A certain man logs in as a young boy avatar called Earth. He's actually a 38-year-old man named Tanaka. He has a regular office job and enjoys playing video games in his free time. In a world where the player is free to do as they wish, which is every fucking MMO, he decides to master a skill that's been deemed to be useless. He makes potions that are too much of a hassle to make, cooks food, blah, blah, blah. God, this is... Caroline would love this main character.
Oh, I'm sure I would.
I was watching this with Pancake yesterday while we were eating breakfast, and he's like making his character, and he's like, what hair color? Black, of course.
Black.
What face? Super generic looking. It's just
but I bet he's the most handsome one in the game.
Well, they all look really fucking generic, so I'm not really sure, but this is like if they had an isekai anime where you ended up like in a world where you level up or whatever, and they took everything out of it that made it interesting, that's what this anime would be. So this anime is basically just all of the generic elements of an MMO without any of the things that might make it interesting. He's learning his skills. He makes a bow. He shoots a rabbit. He misses. He finds out that if he uses some stealth skill, he can get closer and then shoot the rabbit. He has a duel with a character who looks 100 levels higher than him, but somehow wins anyway. For some reason, he puts a lot of effort and time into making potions, so he's great at it. And then magically, all the NPCs in town decide they're going to stop selling potions. So everybody in town is like clamoring for potions. And who's there to make the potions? This a certain guy. So, wow, this is just like, there will be, with Shangri-La Frontier out there, there is not a single human that will watch this and think it's good. Because Shangri-La Frontier, spoiler alert, is fucking good. Quite good. Like, you'll know in five... Huh? You'll know in 5 fucking minutes, Shangri-La Frontier is close to the top of the season. And
are you certain about that?
I'm pretty certain.
Are you a certain guy about that?
I am so certain that I am now checking on here, and Shangri-La Frontier is right there with it's number 7 of the season. It's the 4th ranked anime that's not a sequel. And it'll probably pass Undead Unluck, I imagine, so it'll be 3rd. Yeah, this anime is bad. I mean, it's just really bad. It doesn't look good. It doesn't move good. It ends, see, episode 2 ended with... So he starts off in episode 1 by saying he's not going to join any parties because he doesn't have time to play, so he won't be any good. So he doesn't want to like join a party of people who are better than he is. And by the end of... And I'm like, yeah, that's going to hold up for a long time. And by the end of episode 2, he's getting an invite to a party. So, of course. As if parties...
Sorry.
As if parties and MMOs last more than like 2 hours. You basically just like put up a flag, you're looking for parties so I can grind. You'll find a party, and then 2 hours later, everybody leaves. So it's just stupid. Go ahead, Caroline.
I was just looking at the promo art on Mal, and this looks terrible. Like,
it is.
You would think they would put a little bit more than 5 minutes into their poster.
No.
And it looks copy pasted. Like they put the characters on a generic background, and the characters don't look right at all.
There is nothing more annoying than the WebP file format on the internet. Like, I'm trying to find a picture of MF Ghost, and they're all in WebP, which fucking WordPress does not support at all. I'm like, suck my balls.
Just pull it up on your web browser and take a screenshot. That's what I do.
I mean, it's just
so
obnoxious.
I have an extension where you can right-click and save image as a different type. So you don't have to deal with the WebP.
I have it too, but magically, as so many things do, it just randomly uninstalled itself from the last Windows update. God, what a horrible fucking file format. It's just there to frustrate people. All right. This is easily a fail. I mean, holy fuck. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I have an anime worse than this season, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But this anime is pretty bad.
It is a travesty.
All right, who's next?
Well, if Mitz is gonna make a bun of the shitty shows, I might as well put some good fucking meat in the middle. And I'm gonna talk about Frieren today.
Yeah, give me that meat.
So this is my number one pick of the season. I was very hyped for it. It's about an elf named Frieren who, just blessed with naturally long life,
And good looks.
goes through the years on a journey to collect more magic spells and just become more of a mage, I guess. And I was hyped because it was announced, oh, episode 1 is going to be 2 hours. Oh, it's going to be such a huge
my
epic
God.
beginning. It actually turned into 4 episodes that were just released at the same time,
Oh, thank
which
God.
is different. Regardless, still good. In fact, really good. In fact, this show is better than my expectations. It took a very good manga and elevated it every step of the way. Visually, they added extra shots that infuse just more life into the world. Everything is so meticulous and gorgeous that you can just close your eyes and breathe it in. And secondly, the way it elevated it is by an unbelievably awesome, powerful musical score, which just emotionally resonates with all these notes of happiness, resigned to melancholy that just emanates from all things. And it's such a mood, it's such a vibe. And sonically, this show exceeds in the dialogue, which is patient and given a sense of, emotional depth. And it feels like when characters talk, you're like at the end of the ocean, and you're just this ebb and flow to just these softly spoken passages and observations, and just life is just passing by as you just let it do its thing. And there's a peaceful sadness to the show that is just awesome. It really feels unique in a lot of ways, despite being, it's an adventure show. We've seen that 1,000 times. We've seen elves, we've seen magic, but the way that they've attached it to just so many talented people really comes through, and it's a treat to watch. There's a lovely flat humor in the show. There's a lot of repetition, from getting trapped in mimic chess to quips about how corrupt this drunken priest is. It's a bit of a mixed bag, I think, for some folks, but I don't mind it. If we're talking about bad things, episode 3 of what I've watched so far is definitely the weakest. It just has a really slow A side of watching someone shop that is not really has a great resolution. Overall, though, it's awesome. I'm very curious to see how the visuals hold up over a 2-core run, because, as the beginning stands, it looks amazing, but we've seen it deteriorate in other shows before, so I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with how much Himmel shrinks in his old age, because we got this tall dude when he's young and this tiny dwarf-sized dude when he gets older, and I'm like, I don't know if you really degrade that much. I don't know. Maybe being an adventurer is tough, but overall, I think the show is one of the standouts of the season. Some folks might bounce off of it because it's so deadpan, it's so reserved. And I actually, while I usually binge shows for reviews, I think I'm actually going to follow this one week to week. I think that will better serve its format, and it's just really so refreshing in its tone and presentation that it's kind of nice being able to be like, I can watch the show and it be a touchstone of my life for half a year. And that actually fills me with a lot of joy, where a lot of shows come up and I'm like, I gotta watch this now. But Frieren, definitely a pass. I think, while not perfect, it's pretty darn close, and I hope it can keep up what it's done so far. So, definite pass.
Yes! Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh? 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 I have exorcised the demons.
That pass drop is pretty fitting to internally how I feel. But yeah, I mean, this show and MF Ghost are, I think, 2 series that we've known were coming for a while and could have been bad in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when a show comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh, dang, I never saw this. I never thought it would be good. Akiba Made War. It just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, dang, that was way better. Wasn't even on my radar. But there's something satisfying about seeing a show that you're like, oh, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope it's good, and it is, and you're like, yes. So I don't know.
All right. Well, glad to hear it. Next up is Kamierabi, which I have to see what they translate this as. I'm going to take a crack just and say it's going to be God's choice, the God choice, something along that line, something along those lines. It's Kamierabi God.app. Well, that's not even a translation. It's stupid. So this is done by Studio Unend, which this is the first anime they've ever done. And, well. So let's see here. There's a kid named Goro, not to be confused with Goro Shigeno, who's way cooler. A first-year high school student at a high school in Tokyo, who is your typical like dejected character who hates everything, and then one day he receives a strange notification on his smartphone that he has been chosen, that he must make a wish, and he thought it was spam, so he just joked around and typed some shit in there like he has a girl from his school who he's like in love with, whose name is Honoka. And so he says he wants to do something naughty with Honoka because he's like a high school kid. And then the next day he's invited by Honoka to pull down his pants in a deserted arcade, which I don't even remember happening. I don't know. Maybe I missed that. But anyway, this is another one of those like anime where 12 people get selected via their phone or otherwise to be in some contest to see who can kill everybody else and become God. So, shit.
Platinum End?
How many anime can I think of that have this top plot line? Platinum End.
Yeah, Future Diary.
Future Diary. Eden of the East.
There was a Tyson. It was a.
Yeah,
You're thinking of Junie Tyson?
Junie Tyson.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could
That's
probably put stuff like Battle Royale in there too, because all these shows are just about like King's Game, all these. It's like, oh, you have to kill everybody else, be the last one. Oh god, this anime's got a brutal score on the internet, and I was like, God, can this really be that bad? To barely break a 5. I mean, that's like X-Arm level. It's getting down there with X-Arm. And I think after watching the first 2 episodes, it's not a 5, but, well, it probably is a 5, but like by my anime list standards, the 5 makes this one of the worst anime ever. I don't know if it's that bad, but the animation is pretty rough. I mean, so the things about this that I think have people turned off are the art is all CG, it doesn't. CG sometimes is fine because it often moves better than anime does, but it has to look good too. And the characters are so obnoxious. Like there's moving and then there's looking good. So, you're going to have smooth movements, but how do your characters look? Well, they all look like some demented, like just freakish, what you'd expect of the first anime from a studio. Everybody has like weird, like everybody's hair is like black, but then they all have different weird like like the bottoms of their hair, like the underneath layer is like a different color. So they got like red, blue, green, whatever. And there's just like a lot of dumb shit happening in this show. Honoka, of course, is selected too. Of course, it's like you have the whole fucking world to pick from on this stupid game, and it's like everybody in the game's from the same school. It's like, okay, great. Well, that's very like convenient and very unlikely. So they pick this Honoka girl too, and so they end up having to fight in episode 1, and the main character Goro beats her, but she's got the stupidest power I've ever seen. Her power is literally she can pull like a meat cleaver, a big one. Almost like a Cloud Strife sized sword out of meat, like steak. So she literally, at one point, she pulls a sword out of someone she just killed, I guess, and the sword gets broken, right, at one point in the fight. And so she resummons the sword. But how does she do this? She pulls like a frozen pack of like ribeye. I shit you not. It looks like what I have in my freezer that I'm going to eat tonight. Out of nowhere, throws it on the ground and pulls a sword out of it. And I'm like, what? She does this twice in 2 episodes, and I'm just like,
Can it
yes,
be
Caroline.
different forms of meat?
Apparently, a human corpse counts, and so does a steak. So,
Is it just red meat? Is it?
I don't know. Are
Chicken
humans
breast?
red meat? Are humans
This
red
show
meat?
sounds like garbage, but
What
this
about-
meat mechanic has my attention.
What about the Impossible Burger? Would that work?
You get nunchucks with
Yep.
that.
Human flesh falls into the category of red meat, so maybe you could just say it's red meat. It has the consistency
Oh
of
my
beef.
gosh, I can't believe you looked that up.
Ugh, God, people who have dined on human flesh. It's disgusting. Wow. So this anime is just terrible. I mean, episode 2, of course, like another guy comes in to fight them, and, you know, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Honestly, like, this is, it was so funny, like, well, I don't want to give anything away. This anime's bad. No one should be watching it. You know, if you want to watch an anime where everyone has to, like, the best anime of this type is probably Eden of the East. Just go back 20 years or whatever and go watch that. It's probably the best. I don't know. It's the best done, I would say. It has better art and better production values, and just about everything about it's better. So this is a fail, as I think probably anybody who saw this knows it was going to be a fail. So I need to find a... Here we go.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah, pretty bad. But we did pass 2 very good standouts. Frieren, which is a obnoxious name. For as good as an anime is, like, how many vowels do you need in the same word? And MF Ghost, which we are calling motherfucking Ghost. And,
There you go.
I just want to know, since we have a few minutes before we hit the 2-hour mark, which anime Caroline hopes they pick for her to watch for her penalty for daring to bet on Overtake, which is, I'm sorry, it's just not going to win. So,
I don't really care.
oh, come on.
Okay, Mitz, you are really going hard with the criticisms of this bet very early on, and I
It's just
get
fun
it.
to win a bet
MF Ghost is
10 weeks.
apparently a good show. I know it has the the previous
Pedigree?
series, the pedigree, but we are 2 months away from this bet ending. Can you save your comments and spread it out just a little bit? Because
Listen,
either you're going to be a
Caroline.
terrible, you're being a terrible winner, but if something if it just so happens that MF Ghosts have like a really bad ending, terrible last few episodes, and overtakes it, you are going to be a terrible loser.
It's not going to happen. I mean, I'm just excited to see a real sports anime come out and have it be better than one of these, like, quote-unquote sports anime that's really about, like, you know, trouble at work, or, oh, I get bullied, or, oh, I have PTSD, or, oh, this or that. Like, great, but, like, I'm here to watch auto racing, not to watch you cry. Like, that's how a lot of these shows are, and that's how Overtake is. So, what do you want me to say?
It's still
Caroline,
early.
this is Mitsugi's first bet. He's just a baby boy.
It's not.
He's not a veteran like you. He hasn't put in the time.
And I'm not going into this saying that Overtake is definitely better than MF Ghost, because I have seen neither. I have not seen anything of either.
Well, what are you even
So I
talking about
don't-
then? I've seen them both, but you're just talking out of your ass.
I'm not
That's
talking,
factual,
I'm just
but
saying,
you didn't see them.
I am not trying. That's literally what I'm saying, Mitsugi. I'm not defending the shows one way or the other because I've not seen them. It's just that you gloating
Got him.
over winning and like giving daily updates on the score changes is going to get tired very quickly. And in fact, I think it already has. So how about we just pick this back up in December when it actually gets close to the end?
I'm actually obsessed with this, so I check the scores probably every hour, and I can tell you right now that it has not changed. Factually, Overtake is at a 7.4. I'm gonna check it
This
again
is like
just now.
watching your this is the
Yep,
equivalent
7.4.
of weighing yourself every day
In fact,
and expecting to see the change.
In fact, I can tell you that for a brief moment, it dropped below a 7.4 because I check it every hour, so it dropped to a 7.39, but it never went above a 7.41. So, and then MF Ghost started at a 7.45 and slowly crept up to a 7.72, which is where it is right now. And it's probably going to go up again more after the next episode comes out. I just like getting you fired up, Caroline, but you're not going to win this bet. It's like a 5-1 under. You're like a 5-1 underdog right now.
All right. Well,
Oh, well, okay.
let's see. we'll see how it goes. I am not really paying attention to it until December, to be honest.
right.
And so let's wrap up our
let's do it.
Halloween episode.
Oh,
The reason
man.
being because we want to make sure that this episode gets out by actual Halloween, and also we have a very big milestone coming up, our 700th episode.
Yeah, which I apparently won't be here for.
Will, yeah, you won't be here next week. So we
whatever.
will be celebrating our 700th on 701. Which I think we've done before. Like we've postponed a milestone for some.
I guess episode 3 of both these anime are out now, so I'll just scope those out.
Talking about the damn bet.
Well, the Twitch is talking about it.
Okay.
So if you want to help out the podcast, you can go to aaapodcast.com/join. If you'd like to get in on the Overtake versus MF Ghost bet, you can join the Discord, AAA Discord. They're also about to do Mid Wars, which is another betting thing that they do on the Discord. So there's a whole section on there, the betting degeneracy. You can join the Discord and have fun betting and make friends. But if you just want to support the podcast, AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon helps out the show a lot. It is kind of a ton of work. So this episode will probably come out. It's like, why even bother mentioning it? You'll get it when you get it. We're going to do a hentai episode now. So, and again, we're almost at 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts. So if you have Apple Podcasts and you haven't reviewed us yet, please go do it. I've been waiting for 10 fucking years. Y'all are slow. I love you anyway, but just go in there and click the damn star rater. I don't even care if you write a review. Just click the damn stars. Make it a 5, because me love you a long time. And we will see you on the next episode, where we will be talking about something we haven't decided upon yet, but we will continue our fall impressions. So stay tuned for that. Have a happy Halloween. I love you all. And break out fire. See ya. Bye-bye.
I don't know what that means.
Eat some candy. Have a good one.
Bye.
Brush your teeth!
My man.